Forget.
That was so we're returning back from closed session after discussing certain matters, and when the need may no longer be, those minutes can be made public. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's get into the superintendent's report.
All right.
No, I gotta do roll call.
Roll call.
Mrs. Earls,
Present.
Mrs. Gong,
Present.
Mrs. Kemka,
Here.
Mrs. Jelisevich,
Present.
Ms. Bialik.
Here.
We have one.
Yep, I have a few comments to make. So what I've been trying to do is to answer some questions that have been raised at board meetings. But first, every year, the New Jersey Department of Education prepares school performance reports for each school district, each school, and the district. These reports can be found on the NJDOE website as well as the district website. The reports are report on things like chronic absenteeism, seal of biliteracy, visual and performing arts, state testing, graduation rates, and attendance. So there have been some public comments at the last board meeting as well as some previous board meetings that I got the answers for. So there's a request for substitute teachers to be given access to Wi-Fi. We provide Chromebooks to our subs if necessary, and permitting sub personal devices on our network is considered a security issue, so we don't allow that. Question concerning security audit. So the district conducted a security audit in June of 2016. Most of the items were addressed, but we're reviewing the findings again, and we'll address those items we feel will enhance our security. Additionally, one of this year's district goals is to improve security. We've been working on the improvements throughout the school year, and some of the items will be evident to the public in September. Tardies due to bad weather. Bad weather for the most part is predictable, especially when you're just leaving a few minutes before the start of the school day. So really, we are required to keep accurate records of attendance for the state of New Jersey, so we can't deviate from that. There's a question a while back about alternative dates for testing like ACT and SAT. We host 2 ACT and 2 SATs testing on Saturdays during the school year. We just moved the PSAT to the school day this past year, given the constraints of being able to get enough staff to proctor the PSAT. Students who cannot test on Saturdays can work with their school counselor and apply with the College Board to find a testing site for Sundays. Also, there was a question about proms on Friday nights. The contract is signed well a year in advance. It has been scheduled on Fridays in the past several years to suit staffing needs. It's difficult to have a prom, let's say, on a Thursday night, and then have staff come in the next day. Additionally, when we have a prom midweek, the students who attend the prom, most likely, unless they have some athletic responsibility, don't come to school the next day. Okay. And as far as the budget is concerned, so we have a public forum on the budget on Wednesday, April 23rd, right here from 2 to 6. Please feel free to come with questions you have about the budget. We'll be here to answer your questions. Additionally, we have our public hearing and vote on the budget on Tuesday, the 29th at the board meeting at 7 p.m. Now I'd like to ask Dan if you could put that slide up. Had a few questions on the implementation of a student activity fee. So in next year's budget, we introduce student activity fee built in as a revenue. This is basically a user fee for those students who participate in our programs, and it helps supplement our extracurricular programs in order to keep these programs during challenging budgetary times. So just to explain, so the proposed fee is $200 for the high school students and $100 for Heritage Middle School students who participate in athletics, clubs, or activities in which the district expends. So the fee is charged once per school year, regardless of the number of activities a student participates in. So if you have a student who's a 2 or 3 sport athlete and also participates in activities at the high school, it's $200. It's not $200 per team per activity, just $200. The same can be said at Heritage Middle School. The district is responsible for all necessary equipment. And note that the student activity is separate from any voluntary fundraising done by parent groups. While the district budget covers basic essential equipment for each activity, parents' fundraising provides supplemental resources that can be used for equipment that go beyond the essential needs, as well as group celebrations, extra supplies, and other materials to enhance the activities of our students. And I just want to add that, whether it's a parent group for athletics or the theater group or the band or the home and schools, when they provide, enhancements to the programs we provide, it just makes for a much more, a better experience for our students, and we always appreciate their contributions. And that's it for me.
Can I just ask a question
Sure.
about the student activities fee?
Sure.
Here it says the district will still be responsible for all necessary equipment. Can you just define what equipment means?
So let's say a baseball team, there can only be a batter and 3 people on bases. So there's usually 4 or 5 helmets of various sizes that can be used. Now these helmets are put in a bag and carried everywhere, and kids and parent groups sometimes don't want that. They want something nicer, so they do that. And in athletics, types of athletics, the district doesn't really purchase bats or cross sticks or tennis rackets, cleats, tennis shoes, things of that. That's all borne on the parents. But the parent groups sometimes, some of the groups have different uniforms for cancer awareness, or they want something better than the district provides as far as equipment is concerned. And like I said, that's great. It really enhances the experience of our students. But it's not something we could provide in the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Does this include teams, like for games and things like that, or this is just in school?
It's just school-sponsored activities. Yep. Yeah, this isn't the town recreation or travel teams or anything like that. Just high school and Heritage Middle School, whether it's athletics or any clubs or activities that kids are in.
Any other questions? Any board reports?
I just want to mention that I was honored to witness our March Madness academic tournament in the Livingston High School. I know we always host it and we play at it. Not mention that they did great, for the record. What moved me this time is to seeing more than 20 LHS alumni, they came back to support their coach and their team, to help the team get through the day. And that goes beyond academic achievement. That is what we're trying to build for the overall graduates from Livingston High. I know one or two, they graduate not 1 year, 2 years, they're 5, 10 years out. And they always come back and they still here. And that really means a lot to us. So I really want to make the comments to Coach Guy and all these teams. So wonderful job.
Anything else? All right, my favorite part, the student representative report.
Still his one.
Everybody.
Hey. Good evening, everybody. Over the last few weeks, the final decisions from colleges were released. This means that our seniors have now decisively heard back from every school and are left to choose which of their options will be their best fit. Many seniors will be visiting schools and attending admitted students' days over spring break to help make their final decisions. The pattern of admissions this year among top universities have left many students feeling confused, as inconsistent test optional policies among institutions made admissions feel a little bit more convoluted and random during this admission cycle. Additionally, the class of 2025 is the largest population of students applying to college in a single admission cycle in history. This is partially due to a baby boom that occurred in 2007, but also corresponds with the general trend that has occurred over the last several years of more and more students choosing to apply to college. Naturally, this made the 2025 college admission cycle more difficult for the Lancers. However, despite these challenges, LHS students continue to persevere and succeed, with many students getting into their first choice schools. This success is the direct result of immense support that students receive from our tremendously dedicated guidance counselors, teachers, and administrators. The access we have to enriching extracurriculars, a variety of academic classes, and personalized support from the college counseling teams at LHS provides students with a distinct advantage if they choose to pursue and utilize these resources. On behalf of the entire class of 2025, I would like to thank all of those in the Livingston school system who've helped to shape us into the amazing students, which allows us to achieve this amazing milestone of committing to college. As this chapter of our lives closes, we can look forward to life in college knowing that we have been thoroughly prepared for success in all our future endeavors.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any questions, anybody? No.
No, it's a nice report to hear. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, everybody. Next, we come to public comment. The guidelines for public comment are posted on the podium. So is there any public comments in the room? None. Any public comments online? One. I can't read them.
Nobody.
Hi, it's Michelle Amin.
Yes. Hi, Ms. Amin. We can hear you.
Wonderful, thank you. I want to thank the superintendent for following up on the tardies. I think it's very important not to deviate, and I'm not asking for any deviation. I think that when I brought up the concern in an earlier meeting, my concern was really about the data behind it, right? So if there's students who are tardy throughout the course of the day versus their students that are tardy in the mornings, I know that we've already discussed that the town are the people in charge of what's going on the outside with the roads and the traffic and whatnot. And that's not something that the school can deal with. And that's something that I'm going to, of course, go to the town with. But I think there does need to be some sort of data behind when I see half the school population running into the building to get in there by 7:50, but the kids can't get there fast enough, or a kid doesn't need to be hit by a car when a parent is making a turn. So it's not that I'm asking for deviation from the policy. I'm asking for just a little bit more data behind the tardies, because there's the tardy of first period and then there's tardies throughout the course of the day, because kids could have detention every day. That's number one. Number two, I appreciate that the students receive excused absences when they go for college visits. We had an experience last week where we were delayed coming into Newark, and my son didn't go to sleep till, almost 5 a.m. He therefore did not go to school. Monday was closed. we were there. Tuesday, he did not go to school. It would not have been healthy for him to go to school. It's an absence. It's not an excused absence. I realize that comes from the state. But again, consideration to the reason of the absence. It wasn't just the day he skipped school. Number 3, on delayed opening day, I believe that there has to be consideration to things that do and do not happen regardless of the schedule. My understanding was that on the delayed opening of Tuesday, there was lab for science. When a lunch period is shortened and lab is half of that lunch period, and then you're going to the lunchroom, the kids are not eating lunch. So there has to be a consideration for lab on delayed openings and possibly not having lab on those delayed openings and whatever other special events are happening during the day. I do know that, Lancer time did not happen because it was a shortened week. And that is, of course, a special consideration. So that's that. And then finally, I want to thank you for the information that you shared regarding prom. I do realize that it is scheduled well in advance. I do realize that having it on a school night where teachers can't get to school the next day, et cetera. But let's open up the possibility of maybe doing a Saturday night that could maybe be a bit more flexible with religious observance, and happy to be on the committee to discuss. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Amin.
Thank you.
Any comments in the room? Seeing none. No more comments online? All right. Moving on. Recommendations for approval. Can I have a motion on 3.1 through 3.4?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Mrs. Charles?
Yes.
Mrs. Gong?
Yes.
Mrs. Kemka?
Yes.
And Mrs. Yelisevich?
Yes.
Carries.
Can I have a motion on 4.1 to 4.6?
So moved.
I want to congratulate Chris Bickle, who has been with the district as their social studies. See him go. He's been a tremendous contributor to the organization. The other thing I wanted to mention is, I'm not sure if the board is aware how we do things, but I did want to recognize one other person. Dana Triana is being transferred to an intervention enrichment specialist. It's a new position for her, but because it's moving laterally across the guide and it's still on a certificated staff member functioning under her elementary school teacher, we don't do it as an appointment. We do it as a transfer, but I didn't want it to get lost in the backup. So I wanted to just recognize her as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bickle, for all your contribution to schools. Truly appreciate it. My son has had him, so I am very humble. Can I have a motion on 5.1 and 5.2?
I got it.
Oh,
I'm like, wait, I got it. Mrs. Charles?
Good luck in retirement, and yes.
Mrs. Gong?
Yes, and congratulations.
Mrs. Kemka?
yes.
And Mrs. Yelisevich?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And I now have a motion on 5.1 and 5.2.
Second.
Any questions? Seeing none?
Mrs. Charles?
Yes.
Mrs. Gong?
Yes.
Kemka?
Yes.
And Mrs. Yelisevich?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And that is the adjournment of our meeting. Can I have any old business?
I just want to mention Anna Solovyova, a new teacher in Livingston High School here. So I just wanted to mention that.
Just appointed her to a science position this
Yes.
evening.
I see.
Biology and chemistry.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Welcome.
Thank you for saying that.
Bio and chem. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yes, we met.
I'm very excited because I have two boys in high school, so hopefully, maybe one, you don't tell me anything going on in school, so.
Any old business? Any new business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.